I hate that voice.
It's a
Cheers,
very
bud.
stressful voice.
Thanks for
Cheers.
coming on the pod.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see. Hold on, sip. Delicious. I froze the side of the glass ice cube, so I filled it with a little bit of water and I
And
tilted
then
it
you
on its
just
side.
tipped it on the side. Nice.
Yeah.
I've seen like the silicone inserts that you can actually like put into the glass so it like pushes the
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that, but I do have a Death Star ice cube mold
Nice.
that I probably would use, but I had just filled it up like before we jumped on, so it's almost certainly not.
I mean, that's like a very clever solution to something that most other people would just end up buying.
I had them beginning to prepare for my episode with Tim.
Yeah.
That isn't out yet. And when he walked in my door, I started like scrambling, like turning lights on, turning cameras on. I checked the glass, and it was just like the outer shell, but inside was still water. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, that's not going to be any good. Yeah. But thank you for coming on. I
Yeah, thank you for
appreciate you
having me.
coming on from Denver or a
Yeah.
city outside of Denver.
Aurora. I mean,
Cool.
it's
And
funny.
what's
It's funny like how like it was when Lauren and I were talking about buying a house in Aurora, we were like, are we really gonna buy a house in the place that like Aurora gets like the worst reputation like across the country, you know?
no way
There was
before?
like, well, wait, seriously?
I've never heard of Aurora
Oh
unless
my
like you
gosh.
guys have
Yeah.
casually mentioned that
So,
you live there.
well, I mean, like one of the biggest things was the movie theater shooting during the Batman showing.
Right.
That was at a
Yeah.
movie theater in Aurora. There was like the Elijah McClain tragedy, the kid who was like it was a black kid who was like he was given ketamine like against his will, and then
Yeah.
it killed him. Like he's it's really messed up. There are a lot of like really messed up things that have happened in Aurora that Aurora gets like I specifically remember when we were like choosing to live here. It was just like, are we really gonna live here? Are we really gonna live in this place? But it's like, you know, it's just not. It's it's obviously not nearly as bad as like the media is really good at making places look
Yeah.
awful. Like both of us coming from Detroit. It's like Detroit always, still to this day, gets a really horrendous reputation. But
I work in restaurants, obviously, two restaurants, and I
yeah,
was talking to someone at one of them, and I forget which one. Genuinely, I'm not trying to like cover up which one. I genuinely forget which one I was at. And I was wearing my shirt that Gabriella got me,
hmm,
the Turn of Detroit with
yeah,
the Joe Lewis holding a lightsaber shirt. And he was like, "Ah, Return of Detroit, it needs it." And I'm like,
you,
we done returned. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. This was like the day after they reopened Detroit Central Station and did that huge concert with Eminem and Jelly Roll and
it's amazing what they've done to Central Station.
yeah.
It was like I forget exactly the number. It was like something over like a million man hours to like to like get everything looking like so pristine and like to its kind of like original facade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, I mean, last time I drove past it, it had just gotten windows. And it
Hmm.
was like, I remember hearing the guy say, or I remember hearing someone say, the guy said, I'm only doing the windows because y'all kept complaining. I'm not
Yeah.
doing anything else. I don't want to sink any more money into this money pit. It's like,
Yeah.
bro, sell it. Someone else wants to. And he's like, I'm not doing that either.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the gentleman, but I'm really glad it looks beautiful. The whole
I'm amazed it took Ford. Like maybe it was just because like he was unwilling to sell it. Yeah, I forget the guy. I think it started with an R. His like at least the last name.
find
I remember
out.
people being like, "Oh, that guy, something." or something. I don't know. Yeah, he was a piece of shit and just like wouldn't do anything with it. He just sat on it, wouldn't sell it to anybody, nothing. And then I'm really glad that Ford came through and bought it, because if anybody was going to do something right with it, it was going to be Ford. Like it's like quintessentially
And they
Detroit.
did,
And
and they did it right.
yeah, yeah, they did. It's funny that
Mm.
you say the thing about the about like you wearing this shirt with anything that has anything to do with Detroit on it. I used to have a hat that said Detroit Proud on it that my sister actually got for me, and I wore it to. This was back when I was living in Maryland. I wore it to like it was like a holiday party. One of my an acquaintance of mine invited me to like a holiday party that he was hosting, and his mom was there, and she saw me wearing the hat, and she's like Detroit Proud, really? And I was like, excuse you,
Yeah,
madam.
you
Oh
don't need
my
coming for
goodness.
me like that.
Yes, in fact, fuck yourself, Detroit Proud.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, oh my God. I was kind of stunned by her. So yeah. Anyway, from one place that gets a bad reputation to another place that gets a bad reputation, I'm proud of both of them. I think Aurora is an amazing place. It's like the food here is incredible. You live in a place with any amount of diversity, the food is going to be incredible. There's a new izakaya style restaurant that just opened up recently, and it's stunning.
What is
It's
that?
Japanese.
Like
Um,
specific, like specifically.
so isekai is like like isekai style restaurant. They will have like some sushi. It's a lot of like appetizers, shareable things, small
Cool,
plates, I guess is like more
cool.
of the idea. Yeah. It's very cool. And yeah, it's a great place to live. And I mean, like, I know that, Hudson growing up here, will also get like, he'll get an experience that is like he will grow up in schools that look a lot like the world does, as opposed to, if we were to go into like any of the wealthier neighborhoods. He would probably grow up, he'd probably, learn uh how a lot of the world doesn't look. So
Yeah.
if that makes any sense.
I obviously no kids, no wife, no girlfriend, no dates, no
Oh
life.
Lord.
Yeah. I love the TikToks or the Instagram reels where it's like duet and they don't know each other. It's just the one guy reacting, but he obviously watched it before, and the guy he's watching is doing something cool. He's like, "Damn, he must get a lot of bitches." And then he finishes doing the thing and puts it down. He's like, "Still no bitches though." It's like, "Oh no." It's so good. No, what I was gonna say is, um, don't call women bitches. No, that
Probably
part,
not. Yeah.
probably not. The idea that I've had that I'm not sure I'll be able to execute, because obviously it's not going to be a me decision, it's going to be an us decision. I would love to kind of be a little nomadic and
Mm,
homeschool and kind of
hmm.
show the world, and uh not necessarily Captain Fantastic with Viggo Mortensen, living in the woods. You know,
Sure.
they learn how to survive an apocalypse style. But
Yeah.
um
That's a little too prepper, which I have no issue with.
I have
I
no
think,
issue with.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just what I just want to be clear that what I am describing is not that.
Mhm.
I would love, maybe have a home base in a city, but not necessarily be tied down to that city because our kid goes to PS 125 or something like that.
Yeah, maybe
And
like a
instead,
an over the summer kind of thing for like a couple months at a time.
let me start
All
dating
right.
someone before I figure out where our
Yeah.
kids are gonna be doing school, you
Yeah.
know?
Somebody's got to agree with you first, right?
Yeah, and that's what I
In in
said, you
in
know.
so in so many ways.
Hey, do you want to go out with me? No. All right, we are not homeschooling our kids then.
You said no to dating me, but would you go on the road with me with our
What do
kids
we
and we can
what do we
homeschool them?
what do
She
we
might
think
just say yes.
about
You never
what do
know.
we
That might
what do we
actually win her over if she's the right kind of person.
I've unfortunately jumped back on Hinge and I hate it. And I'm gonna delete it again because I hate it because the apps are awful. But I have noticed a couple people in their prompts have said, like the prompt will say, let's get on the same page about, or where I want my life to go is. And a lot of women are saying things like homesteading, where you get a plot of land and you generate everything you need from the land. You collect the rainwater, you
Yeah,
are
I
off the
mean,
grid,
yeah.
you have some chickens and some goats,
This
and
is this
you
this is
have
this is this is a bunch of women in New York City who are saying this.
I've come across 4 or 5 profiles in my swiping that have said or alluded to that that's what they're interested in their relationship turning into a marriage, a home, a family in a homesteading situation versus a staying in New York situation or a typical moving to the suburbs situation.
Yeah.
So I think it's getting popular, but I also have a friend who does it and she posts the stories on Instagram about it.
Hmm.
5 a.m., wake up, let's go feed the chickens and collect the eggs. And, 6 a.m., let's clean
Milk the
out,
goats.
it's all of that. And
Yeah.
she posts about, quick little picture with some captions like, guys, this is not as easy as I thought it was. It's very much not an easy life, but there's also this study that I heard this psychologist talking about where our reward centers in our brain function in a way where we see the fruit of our labor and it gives us a reward center, serotonin,
Hmm.
dopamine, and B, it also gives us hope of how we're moving forward and our goal, like that we're moving toward it. And
Totally.
so, the interesting part about that I took away is why do so many people who move out here to be performers, give up? I think it's because we don't have a tangible way of looking at ourselves and our progress and holding on to that hope. It's how do you feel about that audition? I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
I think I did well, but I have no idea what those 10 people behind the table thought. They said, okay, great, thank you so much. And, is that good? Did they lie? There's no real, it's not like a report card where I can see that I got an A in, vocal like tonality and projection in auditions. You
Yeah.
know, it's just difficult. And it's a little bit of a relief to know that, oh, our brains aren't built in a way to handle not seeing any progress in an actual physical sense and still having hope kind of go on the same.
Dude, it's fucking hard. It's like, I mean, my story. I moved to New York City in hopes of doing that. I never went to a single audition because I couldn't get my psychology right. I also like didn't realize at the time, I only just over a year ago, realized that like I have like ADHD, not like I went to a psychiatrist and like spoke to somebody and they were like, you probably have ADHD. Like I got like formal testing that
Yeah.
was just like, and like my psychiatrist was like, it was really funny the way that she said it to me. Um, her original culture is not American culture, so there wasn't like, like I feel like sometimes when there's like news, medical news, there's like a soft way of saying things in American
Yeah.
culture, but she's like, yeah, your test came back abnormal. You're abnormal. And I was just like, I was like, well, I think I could have told you that, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I was actually really grateful to hear that information because
Yeah.
I had thought for a really long time that maybe I had ADHD, and in doing like some of the research that I had, it was just like, if you, all of these things that you're talking about, right, like serotonin, like seeing the fruits of your labor and like feeling rewarded for it, if you have ADHD, you don't get the same reward in your brain from doing mundane things, cleaning the dishes, doing your laundry, making your bed, all of that shit. It's like I was I was in fact telling myself every single time I saw any of those, like tiny, mundane projects, was just like, why would I do that? I get no happiness from it. And that is how I was for 34 years.
So,
Obviously I wasn't trying to do this shit when I was 1 years old, like when I was 1 year
right,
old.
right,
But
right.
the thing is that the vast majority of my life, I would look at these things and I'd be like, I'm not gonna fucking do this thing. I don't want to do this thing. I get no happiness from it. And then I just thought from there, because I would like look back on it and be like, oh, you're just a lazy piece of shit. Not, oh, there's something actually wrong with your brain. And so the medicine that I take has like drastically changed my life. I'm like, oh, like I do want to do the dishes because I want to make sure that like you have to like maintain your space. I have a cleaner
Yeah.
desk because of it. I like actually pick up after myself because I get just a tiny little like, it's a tiny little boost that just boop, says you did this one tiny little thing, here you go. That's what people with who don't have ADHD, that's what they get every single time they do a thing around the house. And so like I have the way that I show up at home, the way that I show up for my son, for my wife, for myself, has completely changed. I am a totally different person because I am on the medication that I'm on. So it's awesome. Um,
How
if
long
you think you have
has,
ADHD, please go get that medication. At least go talk to somebody about it because
yeah,
it's
could change your life?
it could change your life entirely.
Sounds like, from the sound of it, could give you your life back
Bro,
in a
I like
way.
the way that I describe it to people is that I feel like I am now the person that not only I have always wanted to be, but thought I might be able to be. Like,
Oh, I like that.
you know what I mean? Like, you have this idea of like the person that you are, and you like, I feel like I've been looking at myself for so many years, thinking to myself, you don't want to be this person, but you are this person, and attempting to accept that for what it was really hard. It was so hard. Um, and this is kind of, we talked about like before this, we were talking about like, like loving yourself and like, and finding like loving yourself, like is, I feel like goes, I feel like accepting yourself is is the really hard part. That's like the first hard step to take, is accepting who you are. And if you can't accept who you are, then like how the fuck are you going to do anything else?
Right.
It's
Yeah,
that
because
is like it's go. Yeah.
it all stems from that. And if you can't do that, then you have no base, you have no uh, foundation to build upon.
Yeah.
Because everything that you're doing, if you don't accept who you are, if you don't accept yourself, then you don't even know what you're building on.
It
You
feels like
can't.
it feels like you're living a lie, or like you're just a sham. And like there were too many times in my life, and it's hard not to feel mad about it. I'm still like, so now that I feel like I'm like the person that I am, it's really hard to find acceptance for who I was before I started getting treated. It's hard to like look back at my life and say like, I feel pity for that person. I feel sad for me before, because I was just floating for such a long time. There were so many periods. Obviously, I mean, there were periods of my life where I was just like, things are good. I feel like I'm getting things right. Is, but that's the issue. Is that I was judging my life based on how I felt like I was getting things correct, instead of like that's no way to live a life. It's just like, are you doing things right?
Right.
It shouldn't be
Yeah,
are you
because then
doing things
you,
right? It should just be, are you living your life the way that you want to live it? It's not, there's no like right and wrong. It's just
well,
that's how I felt like my life was. Are you living it
that
right?
sounds like it. That sounds like it goes back to what we talked about off camera earlier, where when you what dropped a dish in the kitchen and you called yourself a fucking idiot,
Mm-hmm.
like you
I mean,
can't.
I still do that, but but now I like catch myself, right? Now I say like,
Yeah,
stop it. You can't say that. I especially don't want to I especially don't want to say stuff like that
in
around
front of
Hudson.
Hudson. Yeah, you don't want to pass
Because
that
like,
on.
no.
I mean, you're
And my
already
mom,
the.
so the one thing is like, I got that shit from my mom. My mom will,
Yeah,
will mess something up, and so like she'll say, like, "Ah, what an idiot." And I've caught her saying it in front of Hudson, who's, I mean, uh he'll be 20 months on the 24th. But I'm like, I've said to her, I was like, Mom, you're not allowed to talk like that in front of Hudson. You're not allowed to talk about yourself like that in front of Hudson. Um, and I mean, to her, I have to commend her because she has. I don't think I've heard her say anything like that
that's good.
again in front of him, which is awesome. Because the negative self talk, that shit like passes on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a little bit that I'll do at my tables, uh, especially if I like them and I'm feeling comfortable, where if they ask like how I'm doing or something, I'll make a joke like, "Oh, I'm falling apart. How are you?" And like, they're like, and
That's good.
it's not that I am, but it's that it's the opposite of an expected answer. You know,
100%.
no one asks the waiter how they're doing and doesn't hear fine or good or great. Maybe you caught
Yeah.
him on a great day and he's like, "Oh, I'm great. It's my last day." Or, "Oh, I'm great. It's my first day." I always say I'm falling apart because it's funny and it breaks them out of the, maybe they ask me and they're looking at the menu and I'm like, "Hey, how are we doing today?" And they're like, "Oh, we're good. How are you?" I'm like, "I'm falling apart. Thanks for asking." And they're like, "Wait, what? Oh my God." And and I'll be like, "No, no, I'm joking. I'm not. I'm not. No, I don't do negative self-talk on weekends. I do that. I do that. I'm not doing that. It's a Saturday. I'll save that for Monday."
That's
Um,
good, man. I love those moments where you can like call call to somebody's humanity, right? It like
mhm.
breaks them out of their like, somebody goes to a restaurant, they're just in their space, right? They're like, they get into this like mindset. It's like anything. Um, because it's a routine, right? You have a routine,
Yeah.
like wherever you go, you have an expectation. I love those little like break you out of, I'm gonna break you out of the thing that you are in, and like give you something interesting to deal with right now.
Do
Um,
you want to know where I got that from?
yeah, where'd you get it?
Do you want to guess?
Is I want to say, maybe I feel like maybe you got it from New Girl.
No. No,
No.
it's a very different answer.
Okay.
Um, I can see why you might have thought that because of falling apart. It sounds like a very Nick line.
Exactly. I
Yeah,
mean,
I can
like,
see that. I can totally see that.
you and I are basically like
Yeah.
Nick together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm a little bit of Winston as well.
Yeah.
I'm a solid, I think Hildy called me a solid 70-30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've got some. Oh no, it's been
Coach.
so long. Oh, I've got some.
Schmidt,
Yeah, I've definitely got
you've
some
got some
coach.
coach.
I've got a bit of Schmidt too, because I'm
Yeah.
like, I mean, I've got a bunch of rules. I've got rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally
Yeah.
put, so on our sorry, super sidetracking on our dresser upstairs in our bedroom. Um, I have the top drawer, but Lauren has like all of her like makeup stuff on top of the dresser. And every once in a while, I'll see like something like just barely hanging off the edge of the dresser. And when I pull my drawer out, my top drawer out,
It'll fall
it will like fall
as
into the
everything
drawer.
shakes. Yeah.
I think I've asked her like 7 or 8 times to be like, "Hey, babe, can you just like not put things so close to the edge?" And it was literally yesterday. I walked into the bedroom and I saw like an earring hanging off the edge in front of my drawer. And I was just about to like take a shower, get dressed for the day, and so I was like, "That's it." I was like, "That's it. I'm done asking." So I took some like blue painter tape and I put it directly at the edge. As I was doing it, I was like, "This is some really passive aggressive like roommate shit." But at
Yeah.
the same time, I've asked too many
Yeah.
times. I've asked enough times. Honest to God, I'm so happy for this because I was like sitting at my desk working and she comes into the room. She literally works on the other side of not this fake ass wall, but
Hmm.
the wall that's behind it. And she comes into the she comes into my office and she's like cracking up. And she's like, I she's like, I'm so glad you did that. That's one of the funniest things. That's like the funniest thing I've seen in a really long time. She's like, message her.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was super grateful for that because she had a sense of humor about it. And I, 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 I didn't expect, I guess I was expecting, what the fuck? This is
Yeah.
like you passive aggressive shit.
Yeah.
But that was awesome. Yeah.
I like that story.
Yeah.
Mostly because it has a happy ending. I
It's
was
got a great ending.
picturing, I was picturing, and he can't do it anymore because everyone was happy. Do you ever catch the red flag guy on TikTok? I think it's Dustin Poitner or Potner or something like that.
I can't.
Where he,
I am only just recently stepping into TikTok right now. So
I'll
no.
send you a link, but he reacts, he splices himself into the clip intermittently, holding
Mhm.
a giant like 40-foot red flag. And he'll start off with like there's this one video of this woman holding the phone right here, and the caption reads, "If you ever want to piss off your husband, ask him who cut the grass." And so she's like,
Who the fuck else got it? Like,
she's like, "Hey, hey, honey, who cut the grass?" And you hear off camera, like, "What do you mean?" Like, getting defensive about the grass. And then it cuts to the guy with the red flag and he's holding it. He's like he's ready to start waving it, like as soon as this guy overreacts. It's like, just looks a little different. He's like, "Oh, who the hell do you think cut the, like, did you cut the grass? No? Okay, then I guess it must have been me." She's like, did you do something different? It's like, "You shut the fuck," like all that. And he starts waving the red flag. It's like, "Whoa, buddy, whoa, whoa." And then like it cuts to him like 50 feet away in the back of the field, like just tramping through the field, like with the red flag. And
that's a good bit. I mean,
he's got millions of followers, I think,
yeah,
just doing this. Like it's become his whole thing. Um,
genius. It's a really good
yeah,
idea.
yeah, he nailed it. He also has a green flag now. And then I think he's incorporated a fun fact flag. Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. Anyway, the breaking the tape recorder. Maybe the tape recorder thing will give it away. The at the tables saying the
Yeah.
falling apart thing to go way, way back. I got that from Oz.
The, the HBO show about prison?
No, Oz, the manager and owner of the locker room in Utica.
Oh fuck, yeah. Oh god. Oh yeah.
That guy had problems, but he was also very good at a few things, and
Hmm.
sales was one of them. And
I
that was
believe
something he
that.
that was what?
I said I believe that to a certain degree. I don't know.
Look,
I
no,
had some
dude.
very negative feelings about that dude,
Oh,
and
it's very,
I experienced him for like 3 days, and I
yeah.
was like,
Oh,
yeah.
not a good person.
Oh God, I wished really horrible things like upon. I like had so much negative energy in his direction.
Well, you got your wish.
Like I wanted like bat. I mean, he dead or like?
No, he's not. No, he's not dead.
Oh, okay.
Is that what you wished in his general direction?
I mean,
Yeah,
there were some really awful things that I definitely thought.
yeah.
Uh, what did he like lose the bar? What are you talking about?
So since we've moved away, we moved to New York about the same time.
2012.
He 2012,
Yeah.
he had his position at the bar taken away from him. So he was no longer allowed to even set foot in the bar.
Wait, did he not
He
own the bar?
his parents owned the bar.
Okay.
He called himself the owner because his brother Paul wanted nothing to do with the bar. And if he look,
Yep.
to be fair, he probably would have ended up owning the bar if he hadn't had a drug addiction issue.
Hmm.
Um, Unfortunately, he had his position revoked. His brother came in and ran the bar. He wasn't allowed in there. He went to rehab. He got divorced. His parents sold the bar. And now he's moving to Ohio.
Ugh.
He
Sorry.
reached out.
It's. I mean, Ohio's fine. I don't, I don't have that big
No,
of an
no,
issue.
no. Ohio is the worst part about all of that.
Okay. Okay. Honestly, I think the worst part about all of that is his parents said his parents at. I mean, he was in his 50s,
He
40s.
was in his 30s.
No.
He was 37 when we worked there.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Justin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Kids, don't smoke cigarettes. Okay.
Yeah, he looked well, it wasn't look, it wasn't cigarettes. It was cigarettes and Red Bull. Like he would have the magnum size Red Bulls. He'd have two or three of them. And then he would drink every night, like every night.
Uh,
And whatever partying he was doing.
yeah. Oh my
I
God.
don't know. I don't know specifically
I
what he was doing.
literally thought that guy was in his like I thought he was in his 50s.
Nah.
That's nuts.
He might be in his 50s now. I don't know. That's I
Well, that was in 2012. No, that was in 2010,
You worked there with me in 11.
2011. I mean, I worked with you. Again,
Yeah.
I think I literally held like 3 shifts there before I was like, not for me.
Yeah.
All it took was him saying something over the microphone across the entire bar about how I was not going to last.
Yeah.
I was like,
And you're
I'm
like,
not,
dude,
I'm not.
I don't need to convince you.
I was like, yeah, I'm not sticking around for this shit, then, man.
Yeah.
I remember, I forget who it was I talked to on the phone. I was like, yeah, I'm not coming back, and they were like, well, you're not going to put your 2 weeks in. I was like, I haven't worked there for 2 weeks. What?
Oh man.
He's like, it's really unprofessional of you. I was like, my guy,
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah,
So
why would
I
I
think
can't
there
last
was
three. I can't stand 3 days
yeah.
in this fucking place.
It's like I've put in less than 12 hours and you want me to commit to 80 more?
Yeah. Well, I think I had actually put in 12 hours, but the vast majority of those hours were spent just sitting in the basement, uh, waiting for them to come yell at us about the numbers for the night.
That sounds right.
I think I did that 2 nights.
That sounds right. Locker Room Saloon, Utica, Michigan, under new ownership. Head in. I'm sure it's great.
You might want to go there.
I've heard it's gotten much better
Yeah.
in terms of positive work environment.
I mean, listen, and I stand by what I said to you. I think it was maybe a couple nights after I quit. I remember this very clearly. We were at Jumbo's.
Yeah. Jumbo's, Detroit, Michigan.
Definitely go there.
Definitely
it's
go to Jumbo's.
it's one of the greatest dive bars ever. Last I was there, it still was.
Bloody Marys for brunch on Sundays. After a Detroit wedding,
Yeah.
get it.
But I remember saying to you that I commended you for well, first of all, you just got very good at like flair bartending. You were probably still are. I it was you were I mean you were a sight to behold. Like it was you were very fun to watch, and I get if you like getting to that point, but also like getting to that point you also had to like eat a lot of shit sandwiches. And so you know I commend you for being able to eat all of those shit sandwiches. Don't know if I don't know if maybe you had it easier than I did in the beginning, but I know.
There's a
He's in
tradition.
his crate.
Keep your son in a crate? Good Lord.
He's my first one. He
Yeah. It's a dog we're talking about,
yeah.
people. There's a tradition on Splittin a Bottle where if one person walks away from the microphone or screen, that you ASMR into the microphone.
I like that. I like that
Right?
tradition.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I have to be quiet now. I
That's
don't know
fine.
if that's
I mean, just as long as we can still hear you.
can you still hear me? Well, now, I mean, you want to talk about like
Yes.
ASMR artists and be like, nah, I just gotta
Yeah.
get, like sultry and gotta put my pillow talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
mood has changed.
Welcome back to Smooth Jazz V98.7
Oh
late
yeah.
night happy hour. We've got Luther Vandross on that last one. Coming up next, we got some Kenny G and some Tom Sartori on that jazz guitar. Now, 1 minute for a word from our sponsors. Come on down to Meineke, where Woo!
Yeah, that's good. It reminds me of
Good bit.
it reminds me of like even the movie Ladies Man. Well, first it was like the SNL skit, but they turned it into a movie.
Who was in that? I'll look it up.
Yeah, definitely look it up because there's one point where he's like doing
Oh, I never saw this.
oh my god, it's
Tim
so good.
Meadows, man.
He was he's such a fucking genius. But there's one part in the movie where he's like ending his his session, and he's like, I can see by my empty bottle of Cavassier that we are finished here. This motherfucker just drinking an entire bottle of Cavassier in one evening. Um,
Love it.
yeah,
There's 3 new episodes of The Boys that dropped today on Amazon Prime.
I had to stop. I had to stop
Have,
watching it because it's so violent. That shit is
really? Yeah,
super
it's pretty
violent.
violent.
Oh my
But
god.
there's a spoiler alert for anyone watching who hasn't watched episode 2 of season 4 of The Boys. it opens up on, you know, the idea they're like superheroes that are controlled by a corporation and
Hmm.
they make movies where they play themselves. This speedster, the guy who's basically the Flash equivalent, is
Yep.
making a movie about how he escapes the hood, and it's like a sports metaphor type movie, like a Coach Carter or something like that. And so he like sprints up like the Flash and hands off drugs to his drug like dealing brother. And like the whole idea is he keeps the drugs far away, and that's like the shtick. And then a car comes up, like a broken down, busted car comes up, and he's like, ah, man, this guy. And then Will Ferrell gets out and he's playing the coach, and it's like gives like the whole speech. He's like, "Hey man, why don't you come by the house? Mary always loved having you at the kitchen table," and like all this, like very like scripted, like cliche, whatnot. And then they call cut. It cuts to a different camera angle. The cinematic filter is gone, and it's just like the regular like shot. And the director's like, cut, we're not going to do better than that. That was amazing. Oh my God, Ferrell Streep, you crushed it. Will Ferrell plays a character named Ferrell Streep. And I think that's going to be the best joke of the season.
I mean, that's very good.
That's
That's
the
very
best
good.
Ferrell Streep. I
Yep.
died. I died. I came back to life. I'm doing this podcast. I'm going to go back, watch it again, die again.
Yeah. And if you don't get that joke, you need to watch more movies.
You need to watch more great movies. What's your favorite movie? All time favorite movie of all time. Not the best movie, your favorite movie.
Yeah. Um, I I feel like this sounds like super I don't know what this I don't know what this sounds like. I think my legit favorite movie of all time is Interstellar.
That's a very good movie.
It's one that
I almost put it on the other day, but I didn't have the focus or time commitment.
yeah. You need to be in
It's
a
a
mood
it's an
to
ask.
watch it.
You can't
Yeah.
just throw it on casually.
Nah. Um it's one of it's one of those films that like really I mean it's a mind fuck. It's a total mind fuck of a film. And there's no way to like I've probably watched it 20 times.
Oh wow.
I've watched it a lot because every single time I watch it, it's probably why it's one of my favorites. Every single time I watch it, I like discover like a new thing that's like I hadn't seen before. Granted, I will say this: the first probably 10 or 12 times I watched it, I was high.
It's a
It
good
was
movie
like,
to
let's
get
get high
high
and
and
watch a
watch.
space
Yeah.
movie.
Dude,
But like
say less.
as a sober person, like when you, I mean, not that I'm sober, when you're sober and you watch it though, you pick up on a lot of like little nuances, and it's a stunning, it's a stunning film that just has like, and the visuals is like there. I don't think that I can't think of another movie that really compares to it in terms of um I hesitate to say scientific accurateness, but like for accuracy. But it's just yeah, it's one I love it. And
Do
Matthew
you
McConaughey, I think, is a fucking genius. So
Yes. Do
yeah,
you think, I agree. Do you think that it is as much of a mindfuck of a movie because it actually taught most of the audience a lot about how gravity works? Because I remember not knowing about time slippage, and that is a real thing. That's an actual scientific fact that gravity affects your experience of how you move through time.
Yeah, I mean it's like it's relativity, right?
Yeah.
It's how natural forces affect us. Yeah, that I mean, because the thing is that it takes it to an extreme, right? It takes the idea of relativity to an extreme that as we go about our daily lives, we don't fucking think about. We don't think about the fact that we live on a planet where it's like, this is our reality here on this planet, not really conceiving of what our reality could be on a different planet, and shows us what our reality could be on a different planet. And
Yeah.
I can't think of another story, film, TV show that does that for us, that is like real. Not like, while it's like science fiction, but it's like also not science fiction, like,
I mean,
because
it's
in
science fiction now, but maybe not in 50 or 100 years or
right, but
200 years.
so I mean, I say that like it is, but it isn't, because it's because that planet could exist. That planet,
Right.
like
Sorry, I was
the way
referring
that
more
it
to the
is.
journey,
Oh, 100%.
like
Yeah.
our ability
Yeah.
to go and discover that planet.
Yeah.
Um, do you think that the fourth dimension exists in a way that we can access? Fourth dimension being time and our ability to move through it at will. Do you believe that that's a and not forward, I guess. Like there like you can move forward through time. There's this idea of, if you go out to space and you orbit a black hole and you come back, you and I are the same age now. If I were to go and come back, you would be 10, 15, 20 years older than me when I came back. I would be 35, you would be 65, something like that.
Yeah.
That is known, that is a thing. Do you think that there's any way that humans will ever figure out backwards travel through time?
Um. I mean,
Is it beyond the event horizon?
that's impossible to say. First of all,
It's impossible to know until you go there.
yeah. I mean, from what we can tell at this point in time, is that, well, first of all, I mean, I don't. How far away is the nearest black hole that we know of?
Just outside our galaxy.
That we know of is 1,600 light years away, called Gaia BH1. So first of all, I mean, we even if we traveled at the speed of light, we wouldn't get there for 1,600 years. So it would be a very long time before we could even find any of that out. Obviously, unless, so I guess that is kind of the point of Interstellar, is to show us what could happen, provided we found a wormhole, right? If a wormhole just popped into existence. Um, I the one part for me is that, like, the in that entire film, the wormhole popping into existence is,
Back
like, for me,
is the backwards time travel.
that well, no, that's science fiction. And then what happens to Matthew McConaughey when he decides to go into the black hole
Science fiction.
is also science
Yeah.
fiction. These are ways that, we can tell these stories. And
I think it's a genius way to put so much scientific fact in the 85% of the movie, and then, you know a couple key points, those are the fiction. It makes them seem possible, realistic, like
yeah,
maybe not far off, maybe happening somewhere else in the galaxy or in the universe. Do you believe that wormholes are a possibility? Because I
yeah,
know I know when they explain how wormholes exist, you have the universe, right? And then you basically
Fold
fold
it.
it in half. But I
Yeah.
don't understand how the folding in half happens. Because I know you're not creating a wormhole by folding the entire universe in half. And also, what if you don't want to go from here to here? What if you want to go from, you know, here to here randomly? Like it doesn't, you know what I mean?
And then you just fold it differently. Yeah, I mean,
Just fold the universe differently.
the only thing that I can say is that it takes a tremendous amount of energy. Uh, Probably more energy than we're even capable of comprehending or even witnessing. Like, I mean, black holes have a tremendous amount of energy, and we don't know we can only theorize what they are, what they do, what happens when you fall into one. Um,
I imagine we get crushed, teeny
you
tiny,
get spaghettified.
spaghettified.
Yeah, that's the term that is used.
Is it because
And
of gravity and because of
it
gravity and
happens so fast that you sorry, it happens so
that's
fast that you're alive while it's happening.
that was my question. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's happening so fast that, if your head is up here and you're going in feet first, it's literally pulling your feet away from your body faster than your whole body is getting pulled
So,
in
I
at
mean,
like
if
an
you think about
anatomical level.
yeah, if you think about how fast light is, right? Um,
I'm faster, but keep going.
did you say you're
I'm
faster?
so fast. Bro, I get a new pair of kicks on. I'm so fast.
Um, yeah. So the speed of light uh, cannot escape the gravity of a black hole,
Well, because light
which
is
means
photons, which means that they have.
wait. It is and it isn't. Light is photons and light is waves. It's both.
Correct. So it's my understanding that, and I might be wrong, gravity is so strong at a black hole that the photons, which have almost zero mass, are still affected by gravity. And therefore, they cannot escape. And that's why when we look at a black hole, it is black because no light is capable of escaping the gravitational pull of the black hole. That's been my understanding so far in life.
I mean, yes. Yeah. Like, I mean, you can't, nothing, if it gets close enough, can escape the gravity of a black hole. It's kind of the extent of my knowledge.
Yeah, it's it's
Black
it's it's a
hole.
it's a wild concept. So anyway, Interstellar is your favorite movie.
Mm,
Very nice.
yeah. What about yours?
Thank you for asking. I didn't expect that. My favorite movie is Ocean's 11.
Very good.
It's it's maybe the movie I've seen more than anything else.
Mm,
And the ensemble cast is so strong, just from top to bottom. George Clooney all the way down to Andy Garcia. And not that he's the least famous or the like lowest grade actor, but just, you've got Ocean, and then you've got his 11, and then you've got Tess, and then you've got Andy Garcia,
yeah,
you
agreed.
know,
I mean that is
and
kind of
they're
the lineup.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they're all phenomenal.
Yeah. What's Andy Garcia's character? Terry Benedict.
Benedict.
Harry Bennett. I mean,
Terry Benedict, man,
he,
what a powerhouse of a name.
I honestly think that Andy Garcia's Terry Benedict is one of the most underrated characters of all time.
He's one of the most terrifying, realistic guys.
I feel like terrifying.
Well,
Terrifying. I mean,
think about the speech that Ruben gives Danny and Brad Pitt's character. It's like, you guys, you going after Terry Benedict? It's like, if you're going, you better know. He's like, most people back in the old days, you'd rob from them, they'd stick you, you're done. Or they'd get you, you're done. But Benedict will go after your family, your business. He'll make sure that everyone you know is dead. And if they're not dead, he'll kill you. And
yeah,
then he'll go to work on you. And it's like, damn, this guy, like, what? And then you see Andy Garcia as the guy, and you're like, well, yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy that kills you and then starts working on you. Like,
that he kills you and then starts working on
yeah,
you. I think it's funny because this series, Ocean's 13, which I loved. First of all, fuck Ocean's
yeah.
12. That was a horrendous sequel. Oh my god.
It wasn't good.
It
It
was
had
not good.
moments.
Did it?
It did. It did when they're all at the train station and
I don't even remember.
Danny's going around and they're like he's like goes up to Don Cheadle. He's like, "Hey, do I look like I'm 42? Look at me, real quick. Do I look 42?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, and he walks away. He's like all of the little comedic bits
Sure.
in between the story really landed for that movie. Unfortunately, the story did not land for that movie
Mm,
because it was like, oh, the first 10 minutes, cool concept. Terry tracked them all down. And he's like, you're going to pay me back with interest.
yeah.
And they're like, well, looks like this is what we got to do. And then, they do a couple lame heists. And then it's a, oh, we got a big time heist guy who's going to bankroll us if we can do this thing because his protege thinks that he's better than the guys who pulled off the Vegas job.
Yeah.
And, then you have Julia Roberts playing Tess, who's playing Julia Roberts, which was just a bad idea. What a mess. What a
Yeah.
mess. I
Yeah.
need to use the restroom. I
It
can't
was
do
not good.
this.
All right.
No. But
Don't
Ocean's
pause.
13 was great.
Yeah. Come back soon. Some solid ASMR glass clinking. See if this actually goes in the thing.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
some good ASMR, my man.
Yeah, I was hoping so.
That was very nice. Did you do any whispers or any
I did some
nice?
yeah.
Very cool. Very groovy. Hold on.
Yeah.
This thing
I tried.
actually and I can nothing?
No.
Need a better mic.
Don't we all?
Do you need a better mic for what you do?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not.
No. 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 So, where would you like to see yourself as so you're a young parent to a
Mhm,
almost 20-month old.
mhm.
Where do you want to see yourself going in the next year, 5 years, 10 years? Don't say homestead. We already talked about that, and you didn't get excited about it.
I probably wasn't gonna say homestead. She would not want a homestead. That's not
No,
her thing. No.
no, it would be a farmhouse with one super modern room. That's her room, and she would be in that room. Maybe not super modern. It just
I
wouldn't be a
mean,
farmhouse.
we just wouldn't live in the country like that. That's not. I think the idea has. I think that idea has come up, but it's not like a. That's not a thing that's particularly interesting to her. Let's
Let's
see.
see the joy of having a cat real quick.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Look at all that.
Nice. All right, so I'm doing 1 year, 5 year, 10 year. Is that
Sure. Yeah. Those are suggestions. You don't have to go
uh
buy those if you have a 3 year plan.
I mean,
I mean, I
yeah,
don't I don't I don't have any kids, wife, girlfriend, dates, anything.
not again, Justin. It's okay. It's okay.
Um,
It's okay.
so I don't know what it's like. I plan ahead just for me.
Hmm.
I plan my tomorrow and I wake
Yeah.
up when I'm ready to wake up. You know, Hudson might wake you up, you
Hmm.
know, and you might just have to do that.
And he
Um,
does. I mean,
and he does
he does.
because
He
that's
he
what,
sleep. He does sleep really well. I mean,
yeah,
we
it's
got
good.
very lucky. I mean, I would say on average he sleeps 12 hours a night.
Oh
Does
man.
a like 1 to 2 hour nap.
Ooh.
That's if his schedule hasn't recently gotten messed up by something or
Does he
traveling or what have
that's
you.
that's a lot of that's a lot of sleep. Does he not have a job yet? How is
I
he
don't think
contributing to the economy?
he isn't.
He
He just
isn't?
takes. He takes and he takes and he takes. No, I mean it
You
is
can
funny.
say that. That's okay. He's 20 months old. He should be
I
just
know.
taking. That's how
Yeah,
that goes.
I
We did the
looked it up
same
the other
thing.
day. I looked it up the other day how much toddlers should be sleeping. I'm almost like proud that he gets like more sleep than like the average. At least his like his amount of sleep is like pretty top level because I'm just like that's just your brain. It's your brain developing and growing.
Yeah.
And
It's just sponging up things and then committing it
yeah,
to long term.
yeah. Uh, it's it's fucking awesome. Honestly, I mean, in the next year, uh, there's a hope that there might be another one.
Yay.
Um, we're talking about that, and
Little Justin. Wow, that really tickled you, didn't it?
this is pretty funny. So, in Jewish tradition, you cannot name you cannot name children after people who are alive. Bad luck. So
There are plenty of dead Justins. The name did not start with me.
we don't have a Justin that we would name him after though. So there's
Pick a
that.
cool one. Google Justin dead. Justin dead. Dead. Justin Bieber dead? No, probably not. Um, Justin Bieber. No, that's a lookalike. No, no, it's kind of
Jesus, it's
fucking
all Justin Bieber.
Justin. It's all Justin Bieber hoaxes. Oh, Justin Peacock, TV writer, Suits, and Lincoln lawyer. Name your kid after Justin Peacock. Rest in peace.
I got this one headline: Rapper Chris King dead at 32. Justin Bieber and more pay tribute.
So,
It's so sad.
speaking of
That's
Bieber, speaking of Justin Bieber,
I'm listening.
he Eminem dropped Houdini last week. Have you
Oh
listened?
yeah, I've not.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm messing up.
Hold on. We're gonna do that on this real quick.
Okay.
Um, but it's also been very well received. Like everyone
Houd-
loves it.
Houdini.
Houdini, the song.
I mean,
Well, not everything
what?
that M's come out in the last 10 years has been as well received as normal.
Maybe,
Like
but
Music to Be Murdered By was generally like mixed reviews. Kamikaze was great, but Revival was not very well received.
let's let's just be honest about this. Eminem
Yeah,
is a
but
musical, lyrical
genius.
motherfucking
Yeah.
genius.
Yeah,
If you disagree, then you're not listening to him enough. If so, just go listen. This
correct.
Yeah, I don't understand anybody who's like Eminem. It's like no, objectively, Eminem's a fucking genius.
Well,
So yeah,
Justin Bieber did that.
did what?
Turn this. He said Eminem doesn't have any clue what music should be today or something like that. I might be misquoting, but it was generally like Eminem isn't doing as good a job as everyone keeps saying that he's doing. So I'm gonna son of a bitch. I'm going to we're going to hold on. How do I you ready? We're gonna
Mhm.
share. Wait, where was share audio? Was it one of the options?
It's but before you click the share screen, it's like off to the
I see. Share sound.
yeah.
Great. Perfect. Just like that in the background.
Yeah.
Listen, I think it's great. I think the best part about that is he's having fun again. And lyrically, he hasn't slowed down at all.
No. No, I mean his ability to his he's always been like really well known for like his slant rhymes. And I don't remember I don't remember the specific lyric, but
From the song that you just heard for the first time?
I know, right?
Yeah, it's weird.
There was a lyric where it was like one of the verses ended in E, the next verse ended in appropriate, and then he continues at like
Yeah,
age
yeah, yeah.
appropriate at
Yeah, yeah.
um he like squishes his manipulation of words is just absolutely
It
stunning. And then the fact that like he can also be relatively untouchable. He was talking about how like he'll get shit for being like homophobic or whatever, but then he also like says like fuck my kids.
yeah.
They're brats.
There's
It's just like he's like you just insulting everybody. So if you insult everybody, then you
yeah.
can't be insulting to everybody. Like
The kids thing
it's
is
funny.
particularly funny because every single rapper that's ever come after Eminem has mentioned Haley or his kids as a group, but most of them have mentioned Haley.
Yeah.
And what does he do on his first big comeback single of the last like 6 years? Says "fuck you" to Haley on a FaceTime, and
He's so good.
it's like I go after everyone that mentions my daughter, but me, fuck her, she's a brat.
Yeah.
Drop that song, I think 3 or 4 weeks after Haley got married, and
Nice.
you see a picture of him dancing with her. It's cute. Um, but yeah, there's a line that I really like where he's like, I think you taking care of you rappers is light work, and I'm an electrician, a technician.
Shit.
Yeah, right?
Oh God. yeah, he strikes again. Like
Yeah.
that's just kind of how I feel about it.
And it's just
Eminem strikes
catchy.
again.
It's just good. It's fun to listen to.
Yeah,
What are you looking at? The lyrics?
I'm looking at the lyrics.
Yeah. That's gonna be a deep dive because there's a lot in there.
There's so much. Yeah, I can't cover all that shit.
Yeah, no,
Um,
no, no.
yeah. Well,
I think it's time to call it, my friend.
yeah, I think so
This
too.
was fun though. Remember
Yeah, it
those
was.
things that you thought we were going to talk about? We didn't touch
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
I told you that's how it happens.
We should just talk all the time, like we're doing a podcast.
Into the camera, ASMR on the thing. That's too much into the camera.
Too much.
I know you got a fancy new computer, but it doesn't need to be all that.
I got a fancy new computer. I didn't get a fancy new camera.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Look grainy as shit. Oh, are you tired? Are you tired at your 11? Son of a bitch.
What time? What time did you wake up this morning?
6:45.
Really?
I had work at 8. I told you I had a half day and I got off at
Okay.
12:45. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fine.
I didn't want to wake up at 6:45, but I did because they made me.
Because I had to.
I had to. I guess I didn't have to, but if I wanted to keep my job, it was generally a good idea.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right. Fine.
More money in today than out. Catch that
Get it
Easter
done.
egg?
Get it done.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna throw this stop recording on real quick.
Right.
I don't. Do you have anything left?
It's mostly melted ice,
I'm gonna
aka
throw like
water.
I'm gonna hold on. Wait. I'm gonna throw like a baby splash in.
Hmm.
Just like
Again,
a
it's
little,
mostly water, but yeah.
Well, I have no ice, so I need something.
Okay.
Thank you for coming on. You can't even see it in there. It's so flat. Thank you for coming on, bud. I appreciate you. I love you.
Mm-hmm.
You're one of my
Love you
favorite
too, pal.
people.
Try to be.
Don't be a stranger.
Same.